In my last video, I kinda remade my voxel engine in Rust, but now I want to make it a game because I'm tired of making engine features. I always just spend days on basic things that never even work. Before that though, I have to finish the last video, because in the last one I didn't manage to make the multi-threaded destruction that I said I would because I was a dum-dum. But I became friend with Rust and managed to do it, giving me smoother destructions. Yay! It still lags a little bit when doing huge destructions, which I might be able to improve in the future, but that's okay for now. It's finally time to make the game! I have no idea how I'm gonna do it though.
How? I don't know!
Well, I'll figure it out. I decided to make a game where you fight aliens using superpowers, and I plan on making your attacks and the aliens' attacks both destroy the world and the structures, which hopefully will give some cool fights where everything is destroyed. I'm not too sure exactly on the details, but I'll figure something out. I think I'll make it so aliens invaded the planet and built bases, and you, as the superhero of this story, have to save the planet by beating them, leveling up and getting stronger until you become strong like One Punch Man. So hopefully there's gonna be some cool raid of bases and some bosses. Now the first step for my game is obviously to generate the alien bases. What does an alien base look like? Well, I have no idea. It's not like I can just walk outside and go see some. So I thought that a base must have some walls that you can break, so I added that. That's pretty cool. Then I added to that some heckin' weird spheres and you got yourself a heckin' cool alien base. But they are all made of dirt and that's not very scary. So I added some sci-fi textures. Next I changed the lighting to be a bit more scary and I made the ground a different texture where the bases are, with little fire particles to indicate where the danger is to the players. Well, at least for later, cause right now it's not dangerous at all. After that I felt like adding some cool boom to the bases, so I added glasses filled with fuel to random amounts. They were actually pretty hard to make because the transparent glass made it so I had to change some things for the rendering. Anyway, those are some cool spheres. Then I realized that the breaking for the glass was completely broken because the destruction was not made to tolerate transparent blocks, so I fixed it, even though soon I'm gonna make them all blow up so it doesn't matter. I then added a first-person controller with collisions. It worked very well, except when it didn't. But I mean, just cut those out of the video and it's not a problem, right? Seriously though, it's pretty hard to get a good movement speed, gravity, and drag that makes sense. Also, optimizing the collisions without making it so you can phase through some walls is pretty tough. Send help, please. I also made the fuel spheres explode when there's a nearby explosion, and the size of the explosion depends on how much fuel is inside of the sphere. So the spheres that are completely filled will create bigger holes. Now it's time to add the enemies. I decided to start with the little shooting plant because, well, it was easy. I made a small low poly model, imported it, and made it point towards the player. It looks kinda weird though when aiming up and down, so I'll need to add an inverse kinematic to make sure that only the top rotate up and down instead of the whole body. But that's a problem for a later me, don't worry about it. I made that little boy shoot, but he's shooting from his feet and shooting hecking fast. So I fixed that and it was great, but there were still no collisions on the projectile. I added collisions with the world and also with the player and made it so if it hits you, you get knocked back. That hopefully will create a pretty good challenge, and even though those enemies will not be strong in terms of damage, if they can knock you back, they can actually be pretty annoying. But now the player needs to be able to defend himself, so I gave him the ability to shoot fireballs. I think they look pretty cool, and of course on a hit they destroy around and damage enemies. If I spawn a couple more enemies, they can shoot at me pretty fast, but if I shoot my fireball, I can get them all at once. The next step will probably be to polish things, fix some bugs, and also add some cool boss fights, so you can actually go attack the alien base and defeat it. I also obviously want to add more cool superpowers and a health system so the player can actually lose, because right now the player is literally invincible.